So do you think that it is okay to be carrying on all kinds of conversations with somebody of the opposite sex while you're in a committed relationship, whether you're married or just in a committed relationship? Do you think that that's okay? Do you think that that's acceptable? I ask you that because I definitely get all kinds of answers, especially from men who seem to think that it's more acceptable and more okay than women. Especially if you are dealing with a man who has an open relationship, then it's definitely okay for him. It's definitely like A-okay in their relationship when they're open, okay? But outside of that, do you think it's okay, let's say, in a regular relationship, like in a committed relationship? Like, I ask that because, I know for me, I think it's okay to carry on certain conversation, A, if it's needed, or B, if it's business, or C, if it is, strictly platonic. Do I think that you can continue to do that if, let's say, there's already love there, or, this is an ex or somebody that you still care about, or somebody that you still want, or something like that? No. No, I don't think that's okay. Okay. If it's just friends only and it's somebody that you just check in with, once a month or once every other month or something like that, it's a friend of the family, I know I could care less about that kind of thing. I just don't care about that. I mean, I got bigger fish to fry than worrying about that. But anyway, I just thought it was an interesting topic because people do have different thoughts about this, and I thought I would look. It's not showing, or it's hard to see, but I typed it in on AI. I typed it on Google just to see, like, what is a, professional thing to say or whatever. So anyway, I just thought, I didn't actually read through the whole thing. I just kind of skimmed through it. Okay. But I'm going to read some of it right now. It says, carrying on a conversation with a married or taken individual is generally appropriate and acceptable, provided that you maintain healthy boundaries and communicate respectfully. Okay. Now here's a key consideration. So these are a couple bullet points. It says, content of the conversation. The topic of the conversation is the most important factor in determining appropriateness. Conversations should be free of flirtatious, sexual, or intimate content. Appropriate topics include work-related matters, shared hobbies, or general catch-up conversations. I agree with that. Motive and intent. The intent behind the conversation matters if the intention is to develop an emotional or romantic connection that goes beyond a casual friendship. It may be considered inappropriate. Boundaries. It is important to respect the boundaries of the married or taken individual in their relationship. Avoid activities that could be misconstrued as secretive or inappropriate, such as sneaking around to communicate or having lunch dates without the partner's knowledge. Or let's say calling somebody or texting them at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and the other person, their partner, is not okay with that. If she's not okay with that or he's not okay with that, then I would consider that crossing boundaries. Maybe you do have the type of work where, especially if you're a business owner or whatever, and there's two business owners and things like that, and maybe you guys are still working all kinds of crazy hours or whatever, so that might be acceptable, or it may be discussed. It should be something maybe that you discuss, like, I gotta keep talking, okay? It says impact on a relationship. Consider how your conversations might impact the individual's relationship. If the conversations are causing a strain or a conflict within the relationship, it may be necessary to reconsider the nature of the communication. Openness and transparency. Ideally, the married or taken individual's partner should be aware and comfortable with the communication. I agree. I 100% agree. Sometimes married partners might both have a friend in somebody, or a best friend in somebody. Like me, I have my friend, I would say my girlfriend, my friend, her and her husband, I'm close to, I would say I'm close to both of them. I'm a family friend. I'm definitely close to her. But she, there's an openness between all of us, and anything that we need to discuss, talk about, whatever, the boys, stuff like that, so there's also a trust factor that goes with that, right? So I think that there's a respect and a trust factor that goes along with that. I think also, like, they brought out the intention behind the communication, right? If the intention behind the communication is to actually develop a relationship or something romantic or a fling on the side or whatever, then obviously that's going to probably bother the person that you're with. Again, I'm not talking about if you're in an open relationship, which I don't participate in open relationships. I just don't. If I participated in an open relationship with somebody, it would be somebody that I'm not having sex with. It would be with somebody who I don't want to have sex with, basically. And I am willingly, openly letting him go somewhere else to get that taken care of. Because for whatever reason, I got to stay stuck to him or something like that. I would only have an open relationship with somebody that I did not want to emotionally and physically be involved with. And for whatever reason, he was annoying my soul. And I just basically didn't want to be with him, but I don't know. Anyway, I don't stay in relationships like that. I don't stay in relationships that are not healthy for me. And I won't lie to myself like that. So I don't put myself in situations like that. But let's just say the only way I would even consider an open relationship for myself personally is if I truly did not want to touch that man. If I didn't want to touch him and I didn't want to take care of him in that way, okay, then I would be like, yeah, open relationship, go. You can have him. I would find anybody and be like, okay, you want him? Go ahead. You can have him every day, twice on Sunday, whatever. Y'all have at it. Bye. Whatever. Like, could care less. That's the only way that I could even think about participating in an open relationship or a third party relationship or poly or anything like that. Okay. I'm not the one. I'm just not the one. I wasn't raised up that way. I'm not okay with that. And if I love somebody or I'm attracted to somebody and I want to be with him and everything, I'm in it 100%. And I don't leave room or space for anybody else. Okay. That's just the way that I roll. So it's like, if I have to communicate or speak with somebody of the opposite sex who is married or taken or whatever, for me personally, I am thinking in the back of my mind constantly that this communication or whatever could potentially be a problem for that other person, or it could be taken the wrong way, especially because I have a habit of calling friends and family babe. Like my ex-husband, who I just talked to the other today and yesterday, actually. Whenever he calls me for different things that he might need, he's out of state, but I still am like, babe. I still say babe for whatever, and we're not married anymore. But I sometimes even call my son babe. I've been known to call my mother babe. And that's just a habit I got from my parents, because my parents called each other babe, and everybody was babe, and so I have a habit. It's more of an endearing term for me, that I just kind of call out babe. And for me, it's definitely not sexual. It's definitely not loving relationship or whatever. I don't know. So I definitely have to be careful of that, because I feel like that could be misconstrued as somebody that I want to jump in bed with or something like that. Because I feel like some women can get away with maybe talking with that person who might be taken or whatever, when the other woman that man is with is not feeling threatened by this one. Okay. AKA, if the one he's conversing with for work or for whatever reason, babysitter or whatever, if she is a 5 and he is married to a 3 or whatever, okay, and I'm talking in man terms, this is not anything that I personally agree with as far as whatever, but I've heard men say this: if you're talking to a 5 or a 6 and you're married to a 2 or a 3 or whatever, she's gonna feel insecure about that conversation. 9 times out of 10, maybe not always, but 9 times out of 10, she's gonna feel insecure about that. And that's just life. That's life. That's just what it is. And unless you're dealing with a very secure woman, a very secure individual, a very healed woman, a woman who doesn't have traumas or mental instability, things like that. But 9 times out of 10, she ain't gonna be happy if she thinks that you're a threat and that's who you're talking to. She's not gonna want you to communicate, and that's just what I think. And I know for myself personally, because I know what I've been told by friends, female friends of mine, and I also can tell, you know, I can inadvertently sometimes be like a threat, you know, when I'm not, when I'm not at all, right? So I have learned to just kind of like, let me just not go there. Let me just not do that or whatever, because I'm not trying to start anything, because I don't like to share. I just don't like to share. So if he's not going to be mine, I can't have him. I'm not trying to fight. I'm not trying to do all that. There's enough men. There's enough whatever. And more than that, you know, I don't know. I just know how to entertain myself more than the average woman. When I say entertain myself, I mean, I've got plenty of work and things that I like to do. Like, I mean, honestly, I'm the type of person that can literally just, I can do flower. I like to do flowers. I like to do makeup. I like to do gift baskets. I like to coupon. Oh, I can get lost couponing, to be honest. I mean, if it were up to me, I could coupon all day long and then, you know, donate. If I didn't, you know, want to sell bundles or make money from that, I would go and donate it all or whatever, you know. Like, I think that that's a lot of fun, and I can get lost doing that, like lost or whatever. So I'm not the type of person that's like, I don't need a man, you know. I don't need, when I say I don't need a man, I need a man for things, right? For certain things. Absolutely, I benefit from having a man in my life for a lot of things, but I am not desperate emotionally to tie myself to a man. Do I enjoy a man's company? Some men, but not all men. I do not enjoy all men's company. I absolutely do not. And there are some men's voices that get on my last nerve. I don't even want to talk to them. You know, like, I don't even, I'm just very, I guess, especially at this age, I think I'm just extremely picky. So for me, I'm not trying to go through no drama and start all this stuff and create more haters because of texting somebody, you know, who may or may not have been honest with me about his situation or whatever, right? So I don't like it. I don't, personally, I would prefer, you know, I'm not going to go through my man's phone and try to, you know, find out how many conversations he has texting, how many DMs, or how many OnlyFans that whatever, or who he's paying for, or what, you know, whatever, or whatever he's looking at, watching on his private side of his internet. I don't care. I'm not going to do all that. I'm not going to do all that. I just feel like if I'm really down with that guy, I really like him and everything, likely he's not going to have a whole lot of time. I mean, because if I like him and we get along and I'm into him, he's likely not going to have a lot of time to pursue other relationships. I mean, I'm not saying that a man won't be curious, or, you know, he men like their visual stimulations and stuff like that, but whatever. I don't, again, I'm just not here to track that. I mean, I've been told by the men that I've actually been with and in a relationship that I didn't give them room, much room for, and that's when I'm talking about when I'm actively engaged and I'm not mentally checked out. Because if I'm mentally checked out, or we're not there no more, or I don't want to be with you, it's a wrap. Okay, once I've already, you know, decided or whatever, and I'm saying, you know, it's not like I've, you know, like I say, when I know relationships go through ups and downs and different things, but if I have come to the conclusion that it's a wrap, I'm done. And believe me, you know, believe me, there isn't one man that I've been with who didn't know how I felt or why the relationship was ending or why I didn't want to be with him. I am not the kind of person, I don't spring that up on anybody. I mean, I don't just start, you know, I don't just leave all of a sudden or whatever. No, it's literally usually, you know, a very long, drawn out conversation that has gone on for probably a couple of years. In one case, 5 years. Okay, that I broke it down, that it was not going to work out. Okay. But I've usually been very, very clear about A, B, C, and D. Now, if I deal with a all of a sudden toxic by nature, toxic, Jekyll and Hyde, my life feels kind of threatened, I'm not sure, this is unstable, whatever, weird mental situation, that's different. I might have to check out like quick fast, like same night. Okay? But I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about when you're in a relationship already with somebody and there isn't any type of mental distortions going on. Okay? I'm usually very, very, very clear about how I feel about certain things. And again, the way that I am and the way that I interact or whatever, there's just not a whole lot of time. I don't leave a whole lot of time in relationships. Now, when I say time, I mean, again, I enjoy my private time. I enjoy my alone time. I think most men do, especially like game nights, game time, like it's football season, basketball season, whatever. That's great, because I'm like good. I might sit there for a minute, rah, make sure you're good on your food, whatever, and then I get to go do my thing. I'm going to go and do whatever it is that I want to do, okay, whatever I'm doing, like my baskets or my gifts or whatever, if I'm doing work stuff, phone calls, whatever, I don't know. But I'm talking about because of the way I am in general. I've been told that I don't give them, because I think that most men, this isn't true for all men, but most men that I know are they're more on the simple side when it comes to relationships, meaning emotional stuff. They're usually more one-track minded. They don't require a whole lot of interaction, a whole lot of brain teasing or something. I don't know how to say it, but like most men that I know are just kind of like, for lack of better terms, are more simps when it comes to like understanding and getting female emotion and really being able to hone in on and staying checked in on her. Now, I have known men who can do that and who can actually mentally kind of, and like the interaction of maybe several or whatever, or actually have that mental capacity, but it's very few. Very, very few that I've actually known like that. Most men are just like not capable. And so what I bring is usually well more than enough that I have been told by all of them that they were filled up emotionally, that they were just not, it's like they didn't really have any desire to go on the phone or try to have, some girl send them a picture and get some sort of emotional stimulation from, her saying, "You're so sexy, you're so handsome, you're so beautiful." He didn't need any ego rubbing or ego building up from anybody else. Because the thing is, if I'm into you, I'm into you, and you're going to know it. Because I am very communicative, and I also don't have no problem saying whatever's on my mind. I don't have a problem. I have no problem being open and honest about whatever I'm thinking. If I'm thinking you're looking hot right now, you're looking sexy right now, I really like that on you, or, I need to trim your eyebrows because they're getting too bushy. Whatever I'm going to say, it's like I'm going to just say it, okay? So therefore, most of the guys that I've been with didn't feel like they didn't feel less than, or they didn't feel like they didn't measure up. They might have had their own insecurities that they were dealing with or whatever, but if they actually brought it up to me and they actually spoke on it with me, they would, it would get resolved. Because no matter, I think that I can be intimidating at sometimes, at first. I can be intimidating. But once I'm actually engaging in a relationship, in a date, whatever, going out somewhere, whatever, I've been told by many men that they're like, "Wow, you're so simple to please." Meaning, because I really do appreciate the simple things in life. I really, really, really do. I don't like my life feeling crowded up by a lot of, drama, trauma, stress, or excess baggage or excess financial stresses, you know, where you feel, to me, it is more rich to have more time. And if I could fill my time with more memorable, valuable, memorable experiences together, shared experiences, where the feeling of love and comfort was fostered, and I don't have a bad memory tied to that shared experience. For example, you know, if I go on a cruise with somebody, and by the time I get off the cruise, the whole time I was thinking, oh my God, I felt suffocated the whole time. I didn't really like it, or I didn't like the company that I was with, and I vowed I would never go on another cruise with that person or whatever. Like, in other words, that whole experience to me was tied to not a good feeling. I want to create good feelings. I want to create good shared memories, you know, and not that things have to be perfect. It's just that it's not at all. It's just that I'm simple. It's like picnic, you know, or just, you know, getting ice cream, you know, very, you know, just calm, loving moments, going to the water, going on a walk. And to me, I'm very happy with that. So because I'm happy with that, I don't create a lot of stress. I really don't. Again, because I don't like to argue. I don't like to nitpick. And I'm not the type of woman that's like, well, how much money are you making? And I need my handout. I need you to pay me some money. I need you to give me some money. I need to do this. I need to do that, or whatever. I don't look to a man for that, because I don't want to be controlled by that either. Okay, so, you know, yeah. So because of that, I feel like when I'm actually in a relationship where I am allowed to be myself and I'm into that person, especially if I'm into him physically and emotionally and mentally, like I was with my first husband, who passed away, my late husband. But I've been in one relationship, I would say, kind of similar to that since my husband has passed, where I felt very emotionally, mentally, and physically attracted to that person. He reminded me a lot of my late husband, actually. And him and I had a lot of very simple dates and simple times together and everything, but we created a lot of good memories in like the year that we spent together, hanging out and everything. I enjoyed it, and I was actually very mentally attracted to him, physically attracted to him, very physically attracted to him. I know what I like. I'm the kind of woman, I just know what I like. And so I don't leave there's not a whole lot of room for that. So I'm not a sharer. I can't share. I don't even want to share. I don't even want to start sharing, you know, like texting and phone conversating and doing all kinds of stuff, you know, and creating any kind of emotional bond with somebody who's already with somebody else, because I can't deal with that. Because I know I'm going to be consuming. So I'm not the kind of person who can share, you know. I've met one other person maybe a couple months ago at one of the car dealerships, and he is a cutie pie. He is a cutie pie, and yeah, I could kind of, you know, dig him if the circumstances presented itself, but he kind of reminded me of my ex that I was talking about, that I was with for about a year or so. And but that's so rare for me, because I know people, I've been talking with my girlfriends, and we've been talking all the time, and like, they got this guy, that guy, whatever, that they're talking to, this one and that one. And I mean, I was on the phone with my friend earlier today, and while I was on the phone with her, this guy was trying to holler at me, and I was just sitting in my car. I wasn't even out. I wasn't looking for it, and that's what I mean. I'm not even looking for it. And he was trying to talk to me, you know, and I was like, you know, I literally was like, oh, I'm with somebody. That's just what I say. You know, like, I'm with somebody. Or I say, I got a mentally unstable ex who likes to stalk me. I learned that one from another guy that I was talking to. He said that turns most guys off if you just say that. But that's kind of true. But anyway, he told me to say that. He said, oh, that'll turn guys. So anyway, that's basically what I say, whatever, because I'm not attracted to, because to me, a lot of the guys that try to talk to me, even though there are a lot of options, I know that there's somebody out there or whatever, but I'm just not always physically attracted. And I'm just not the one who's going to be, I'm not putting up with, anybody I'm not physically attracted to at this age. It's just not going to happen. I'm just not doing it. Because to me, there's just no point in it. I want to have to be physically attracted, and then there has to be, obviously, we have to be able to get along, and there has to be an attraction where we're not arguing all the time, and there's peace. And, it's agreed upon that we are loyal and committed and with only one person. It's agreed upon we're not sharing. There's no sharing. And there'll be no, getting married to somebody else or having 2 wives or 3 girlfriends or, deciding to have a baby mama over here after we're together, getting somebody else pregnant, whatever, stuff like that. Like all that is like, that's not going to work for me, And so as long as all that is agreed upon, and I have to say this because even men who claim to be Christian men, and men that claim to be, Bible whatevers, still have their different viewpoints on what they think is acceptable. And so, you just have to put all that stuff out on the table of what's okay and what's not okay, and what you consider to be committed and not committed. And like I said, for me personally, while I can't sit here and be like, oh, I'm going to track my man. I got to see where he's going. I got to make sure he's doing this and doing that. I can't be dealing with all that. I don't mind myself being tracked because of the fact that I do a lot of stuff. I am all over the place, and it does make me feel safe. I don't mind. I actually don't mind being GPS tracked because, it's for safety reasons, and I'm a female, and I personally don't mind it, and I'm not doing anything. That's the number one reason, because I'm not doing anything, and 9 times out of 10, I prefer to be doing whatever I am doing, I could do with him. But I also don't mind, like, when this one guy that I met, we first started talking, we were FaceTiming each other, like, every day, and he would leave me on his FaceTime on the desk or whatever, and I could just watch him work and stuff like that, and I like that, even if I'm working and doing my own thing, he's over there working, doing his own thing or whatever, but it's kind of fun because you feel a little connected, and I don't have to be that way, so I'm not like codependent where I have to be that way, but I do enjoy the connectivity. I like it, but I don't have to have it, but I do think it's fun, and I think that some men are just naturally kind of like that. Some men just kind of like when you stay connected like that. Some men like that, and some men don't. They're all, men, everybody is different, right? It just depends. But that's where it takes time to see if you actually are compatible. Anyway, so yeah, I think it's okay to be talking and going back and all that, back and forth, texting with somebody who's already committed? Not really. I kind of feel like you're really kind of touching on, it's touchy ground. It's risky, because if the other person doesn't know, or if she is at all insecure or whatever, she's not going to like it. And I do think it can be very disrespectful, especially depending on, what you guys are texting about or talking about. And also depending on what's the intention. If the intention is to develop a strong relationship so that you can cheat on this person and leave, I just think that that's kind of, I think that's D-class A. I don't know. Maybe it's because with me, I'm just like straight up like, yo, I don't want to be with you no more. Like, if this is what it is, it is what it is. I've already given you an ABC opportunity to fix this or whatever. It's not going to change or whatever. It's time to call it quits. And it's best if you start preparing for that even before somebody else gets in the picture, so that way there's no egos that get involved. Because that has happened already to me several times when things got, the lines got blurred, even though I was very clear. So, me personally, I don't like to get wrapped up in that stuff. I don't. So, no. I would prefer to just not be talking to somebody who has a third party or whatever. No, I'm not doing it. Not unless, it's work related or it's sheer friendship related or whatever. And that person is friend zoned or whatever because of this situation. Now, I don't know. I just think that's the way it should be. I know that everybody feels a little different like that, but I think this woman, this chick right here, because I know that the way I have been told, that I can evoke insecurities, and I don't want to do that to other women. I want to build women up. I want women to be encouraged by me. You know, I want women to not fear or be scared, you know, or whatever, because it's like, if that man is taken and that's what he is, then that's what he is. I don't want him. He can stay over there with you, boo. And that's just what it is. Like, just, you know, it is what it is, right? So, like, I don't know. I'm just not the one to share. I don't want to share. I don't want to share. So, yeah, I know that it's prevalent in this area, especially here in this Atlanta area. It's very, very open. I mean, it's open amongst all relationships. I've seen it in the gay relationships, the LGBTQ community, the ABCEFG LMNOP community. I just say, let's give them all the alphabet, because I don't know. Whatever. I've seen them. They'll be open, because I've been in the store shopping and have had other women hit on me with their woman and be like, yeah, she fine, she cute, like she likes you or whatever, and you want to hang out with us or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not even like, I don't roll like that. No, not like that. I don't want to hang out with you like that. No, I prefer nothing but testosterone men. That's just, anyway, let me stop. Anyway, it's very widely acceptable here in this area to just be open about everything. And I've even had men say that to me. Like, I'm good with if you have a girlfriend, I don't care. I don't know why. I think because whenever I cut my hair short for the summer, I think people must, I've been told that, you know, gives off the vibe of me liking women or something. No, I don't. I'm sorry. I really, really don't. I only prefer my tall, dark, and handsome. Okay, anyway, bye.